This is your board game shortcut to Unconscious Mind. In this video I'll walk you through Unconscious Mind as clearly as possible so you can jump straight into playing. Before we get started, keep in mind that you need quite a bit of table space. The official rulebook suggests a specific setup layout, but honestly it doesn't really matter, as long as everything fits on the table. Your own play areas will also expand as the game goes on. The way I'm arranging the city map board, meeting table board and the player boards here is just an example, so consider yourself warned. Let's begin with an overview of how the game plays. In Unconscious Mind, each player takes on the role of a psychotherapist in early 20th century Vienna. You'll move through the city intellectual circles, write articles, publish treatises and, most importantly, help your clients overcome their unconscious traumas by analyzing their dreams and applying the insights you've gained. That's the thematic side of things. From a gameplay perspective, this is a Euro-style game where you'll be competing for victory points, looking for smart synergies, and using your resources efficiently to reach both small and large goals. Play proceeds clockwise until the end of the game is triggered. On your turn, you'll choose one of three options. Treat clients in your office, state ideas by placing your ideas onto the meeting table board to perform actions similar to a worker placement system, or recall ideas to take your used ideas back into your supply. The meeting table actions are what you'll use most often. They are your main way to make progress, gaining new insights, publishing treatises, advancing your professor and Freud around the city map, and much more. So that's the general flow of the game. I'll explain each part in detail later. Let's go through how to set up Unconscious Mind. Place the city map board and the meeting table board in the center of the table. Each of the 7 location goal tiles has a small location tag icon in its upper left corner. Make sure this side is facing up. Then arrange the 7 tiles randomly, either in a row between the 2 boards or wherever they fit best. Next, sort the district tokens by color and stack them on their matching space on the city map. The token with the reputation point should be on top of each stack. At the top of the board, you'll find the reputation track. Place Freud's reputation marker on space 1. Now place the Freud figure. To do this, look at the leftmost or topmost location goal tile and check which location tag it shows. Place Freud on the matching location on the city map. If that tile happens to show the gray tag, use the next location goal tile instead to determine Freud's starting position. Move on to the meeting table board. The setup here depends on the number of players. If you're playing with fewer than 4 players, you need to block some of the idea spaces using unused idea pieces from colors not in play. There are 2 types of notebook tiles, level 1 and level 2. Set the colored starting notebook tiles aside for now, you'll need them later. Depending on a player count, you'll need 12, 15 or 18 tiles of each level. Shuffle each stack separately, then reveal 2 tiles from each level so their banner sides are showing. Next, prepare the mixed decks. The grief layer cards, the latent and manifest dream cards, and the routine and case study client cards. Set aside the cards with the graduation cap symbol for later. Draw 2 routine clients and 2 case study clients and place them face up next to their decks. Place the grief layer deck inside its dispenser box. Draw 4 cards from it and place one on top of each of the 4 face up clients. The darker cards are latent dreams, and the lighter ones are manifest dreams. Draw 4 manifest dream cards and arrange them face up in a row. Draw 2 research cards and place them face up beside their deck. Sort the treatise tiles by size and layer them slightly offset so you can still see the colored volume icons and location tags. Finally, create a generous supply of bright idea tokens. And you're done with the main boards. Each player will need a fair amount of space, so here's how a complete setup should look. Arrange your components however they fit best. Each player takes their player board, inside dial and office board. On your player board, place your Inkpot, the heart-shaped box marker, the coffee marker on space 4, 3 idea pieces in the top slots and 3 more in your personal supply, and 6 inside pieces of your player color in their designated spots. Place the 7 common insights in the center of your inside dial. Give one player the starting player token. On the city map, each player places their scoring marker on 0 of the victory point track and their reputation marker on 0 of the reputation track, stacked in reverse player order with the starting player on top. Depending on your position in turn order, you may receive some starting resources. Usually a coffee, a bright idea, both or nothing. Each player draws one random office room card and places it below their secondary office room. Then draw routine clients equal to the number of players plus 1. So in a 3-player game, that's 4. Take the starting grief layers you set aside earlier and place 1 on each client. In reverse player order, choose one of the displayed clients including its grief layer. Return the remaining client to the bottom of the deck and its grief layer to the box. Place your chosen client with its grief layer into your primary office room. Draw one random latent dream and place it above the client. Then take one manifest dream, either from the display or from the top of the deck, and layer it slightly offset above the latent dream. If you took one from the display, immediately refill it. Add up the therapy points from your client and the grief layer and place your therapy marker on the matching space of your therapy track. If that space shows victory points, score them now. Place your second therapy marker on the 0 space of your secondary therapy track. Your office room card shows a letter, alpha, beta, gamma or delta. Take the set of starting notebook tiles with that same letter and choose one. Return the others to the box. The symbols on the tile show two things: the location tag where you place your professor figure on the city map and your starting insights. For example, 2 red passion, 1 green growth and 1 purple freedom. Mark those on your insight dial accordingly. Flip the tile to its main action side and place it in the leftmost column of your player board. It's often helpful to place it in a row matching its symbols. Finally, flip your office room card to show the graduation cap icon. Once all players have completed these steps, you're ready to begin the game. At first glance, Unconscious Mind can seem complex or even a bit overwhelming. It really helps in your first few turns to focus on a single clear goal and then find a way to work toward it. So what are we trying to do as a psychotherapist? Quite simply, treat our clients. At the start of the game, each player has one client in their primary office room. Above each office room, you'll find a therapy track. This shows how much treatment your client still needs. The therapy marker moves from right to left as you provide therapy. Once it reaches the far left space, the client is cured and you can welcome a new client in that office room. But why should you want to cure clients, apart from professional pride? You find the answer here on the icons printed at the bottom of each client card. At the beginning, these icons are crossed out. Once a client overcomes their trauma, these icons become active. Routine clients grant ongoing abilities that can help you throughout the game, while case study clients provide powerful endgame scoring conditions that can earn you a lot of victory points. So how exactly do you treat and cure a client? Each new client comes with 2 dreams, a dark latent dream and a light manifest dream placed above it. You listen to your client's dreams and then apply your own insights to interpret them and guide their therapy. Insights are the main resources in the game, represented on your insight dial. The center of the dial is your reserve. Through various actions and bonuses, you'll generate insights of 3 different qualities: growth, freedom, and passion, each with 3 levels: minor, median, and major. The inner ring shows the lowest level, while the outer ring shows the most advanced. These are the same symbols you'll find on the dream cards. When you use the required insights shown there, you make therapeutic progress on that client. That, in short, is your overall objective and what you need to understand before we move on to the action system. Later in the video, I'll show you in detail how treating and curing client actually works in practice. Placing your ideas onto the meeting table board to perform actions is one of the 3 turn options you'll use most often in the game. At the start, you have a supply of 3 idea pieces on your player board, and you may also have some bright ideas available. With these, you'll be able to do quite a lot. When you decide to state an idea, choose any vacant idea space on the meeting table. Each idea piece looks like a small speech bubble. Its pointed end acts like an arrow, indicating which action space it's targeting. Depending on which way you orient your idea, you'll activate a different action. However, an action is only considered available if there's a free space for your idea and if none of your other ideas already point to that same action space from another direction. Instead of an idea piece, you can also use a bright idea. Those are the light bulb tokens in your personal supply. The base of the bulb shows the direction it's pointing. You can also combine two ideas, two bright ideas, or even one idea and one bright idea on the same idea space to trigger that action twice in a row. The two small gear icons printed on every action space remind you that each one can be activated up to 2 times per turn. Some actions give you a choice between two effects, separated by a slash on the icon. If you play an action twice, you can either repeat the same effect or use both options in sequence. Once you've chosen your action space, it's entirely up to you how and in what order you resolve the effects, as long as both activations come from that same action space. The meeting table actions are the heart of the game, so next we go through each type of action one by one. The top row of actions corresponds directly to the notebook tiles displayed above it. Whenever you take one of these actions, you must spend coffee from your player board. 1 coffee for the left action, 2 coffees for the middle one, and 3 coffees for the right. With the left action, you take the top notebook tile from either the level 1 or level 2 stack and place it in the leftmost open space of any of the 3 rows on your player board. I'll explain what these tiles do in just a moment. With the middle action, you choose one of the 2 face-up notebook tiles above it. The lightning bolt icon means you immediately gain the banner effect shown on the tile, such as a location on the city map. Then flip the tile to its main action side and place it into the leftmost open space of a row on your player board. With the right action, you again choose one of the 2 rightmost notebook tiles above it. But this time you gain both the banner effect and the main action effect immediately. Whenever you take a tile from the middle or right column, immediately refill the display. Each tile's main action is the same as what you will find on its reverse side. Meaning the effect you gain now is the one you'll later be able to trigger again using your Inkpot. As you collect notebook tiles, you'll gradually fill the rows and columns of your player board. At the end of each row and column, there's a player color insight waiting to be unlocked. Whenever you complete a full row or column, take that insight and move it to the center reserve of your insight dial. From there, it can be used like any of your common insights. Player color insights also have special long-term uses we'll get to later. There's one important restriction. You can fill any column freely, but to fill a second row, you must have cured at least 1 client. And to fill a third row, you must have cured 2 clients. The icons next to each row remind you of these requirements. Each time you remove an insight marker from your player board, you'll also uncover a bonus slot that will help you later during Inkpot activations. On your board, you'll notice your Inkpot figure resting on a circular track. It always moves clockwise, and the meeting table determines how far it moves each time you take a state ideas turn. After completing your meeting table action, look at the row of Inkpot icons next to the idea space you used. That number is how many steps you move the Inkpot. This symbol lets you move 1 step more or less than the indicated value, but you must always move at least 1 space. Some district bonuses also show Inkpot symbols. Those allow you to move your Inkpot up to the number of spaces shown if you wish. When your Inkpot stops in front of one of the 3 horizontal rows, you may trigger all the effects in that row. So every notebook tile plus any bonuses at the start or end of the row. Each time your Inkpot passes a thought icon, take the leftmost idea piece from the top of your player board and add it to your supply. This both expands your idea capacity and unlocks the column below it for later Inkpot activations. If the Inkpot lands at the top position of the circle, you may instead trigger one of your unlocked columns, again performing all the actions and collecting any uncovered bonuses in that column. You're free to take and resolve all bonuses and notebook tiles in any order. When your Inkpot lands on the leftmost position of the track, it triggers the reputation track. So let's look at that next. You'll find the reputation track at the top of the city map board. Here it's important to distinguish between gaining reputation and triggering the reputation track. You gain reputation whenever you see this symbol, usually on location goal tiles or other major achievements. When you gain a reputation point, both your own marker and Freud's marker advance one space. Every time either marker crosses this icon, Freud's figure moves one location forward on the city map in clockwise order. When Freud's marker eventually reaches the end of the track, the end of the game is triggered. Now, what happens when you trigger the reputation track with your Inkpot? Look at where your reputation marker is. The zone above your marker shows the victory points and coffee you immediately gain. The zone below Freud's marker shows which bonus actions are available. For example, you might gain 3 victory points and 1 coffee, then choose one of the available actions below Freud's marker, such as gaining a bright idea, adding a stored heart-shaped box, or performing another special effect. I'll explain what those do a bit later. To summarize, gaining reputation moves both markers forward and may cause Freud to move on the city map. Triggering the reputation track with your Inkpot lets you take the bonuses above your marker and one action from below Freud's marker. Let's circle back to the notebook tiles themselves and the insight system they interact with. Most notebook effects involve generating, spending or modifying insights on your dial. Sometimes you'll gain new insights, other times you'll spend them to gain rewards like heart-shaped boxes or to activate other abilities. The arrows on each tile tell you what you must pay and what you receive in return. Let's look at 2 more actions on the meeting table board, the arrow symbols and the insight symbols. Both of these relate to your insight wheel. On the insight dial, you'll see the 3 colored sections: growth, passion and freedom, each with 3 levels. Minor, with a square icon on the inner ring, median, so the hex icon on the middle ring, and major, a circle icon on the outer ring. When an effect shows only the shape, so a square, hex or circle, it refers to the level, not the color. When you gain an insight, you take it from your center reserve and place it on the indicated ring and section. If your reserve is empty, you can remove an existing insight from your dial instead. To upgrade an insight, look for the upward arrow symbol. Move it outward 1 ring, keeping it in the same color section. The horizontal arrow lets you transfer an insight sideways to an adjacent color section without changing its level. When you are required to spend a specific insight, for example by a notebook tile or trim card, remove it from your dial and return it to the center reserve. You can always overpay by using a higher level insight than required, but you won't get any change. And if you're missing the right insight, check the exchange options printed on the bottom left of your player board and on your office board. You can perform these exchanges at any time during your turn. For example, this icon lets you prevent a downgrade by spending 1 coffee. With this knowledge, you can now already understand 2 more actions on the meeting table. Here you may elevate twice and transfer once, and here you gain the first level of insight in all 3 sections. This brings us to the next actions. These 2 are connected, they both deal with publications. With the lower action, you receive a research card into your hand. Each time you perform this action, take the top card from the deck into your hand, then you may decide whether to exchange one of the research cards in your hand, which by the way consists only of these cards, with one of the 2 cards from the display. As long as you keep research cards in your hand, they don't do anything for you. Thematically, you're still working on your articles, but they only have an effect once you publish them. That's what this other action is for. It lets you play 2 cards from your hand. That means you place them face up in your play area. As soon as and as long as they are face up there, they provide benefits. Sometimes one-time bonuses when you play them, and sometimes ongoing effects in the form of location tags. So the same symbols you find on the city map. You'll see in a moment what these tags are used for. The research cards that you've played and that now lie face up in your play area can be combined into a treatise using the second option of the action. And that can earn you a solid number of victory points. However, be aware that once you publish them, those cards lose their benefits. To publish, you also need player color insights, meaning you must already have completed a row or column on your player board. That's one of the reasons why you want to avoid leaving your colored insights sitting on your insight dial. If you use them from there, the gained insight would simply be lost, which would be a pity, especially if you still had neutral insights available in your reserve. These here are treatise tiles. They show which research cards you need in order to publish them. As you can see, each treatise requires between 2 and 4 played research cards in specific colors. And as always, first come, first served. If you have the required cards for an available treatise, take that treatise tile, slide your research cards behind it in the correct order, place one of your player color insights on top, and then take the shown victory points. You can also publish a treatise even if you don't have all the matching research cards yourself. You can simply cite your opponents. The basic requirement is that you must contribute the first leftmost research card yourself. Then, to cite, take without their permission a matching, still unused research card from the right end of any of your opponent's published treatises. You may take from any opponents you like. However, they'll be compensated. For each research card you take from another player treatise, that player gains 2 victory points and 1 pride idea. So in this example, Brown gains 4 victory points and 2 pride ideas. In that sense, it can be worthwhile to make your treatises available early in the game. Published treatises always show 2 location tags, so you haven't entirely traded away your research cards' ongoing benefits for victory points. All collected location tags, wherever they appear in your play area, can have a powerful impact through the city map. And that brings us to the last 2 actions on the meeting table: moving your professor and moving the Freud figure on the city map. The symbols themselves are easy to understand. Figures on the city map move clockwise from one location to the next. With this action, you move your professor figure 1 or 2 locations forward. With the other option, you place your professor on the same location as Freud. And with the final action, you move the Freud figure up to 3 locations forward. After moving a figure, you trigger the location effect of the space where the moved figure ends its movement. So what does that mean? On the city map, there are 3 colored districts, each containing 2 locations. Together they form 6 locations, each with its own location tag. You've already seen these tags on the research cards and treatises, and they can also appear on your client cards. They are now important for the location effects. So through one of the meeting table actions, you've moved either your professor or Freud to a new location, for example blue to the museum. Now your goal is to gain as many bonuses as possible. You can resolve up to 5 location effects in any order and combination you like. How many effects you perform depends on how you choose to count. Either you count all figures currently at that location, for example 2, and then perform 2 location effects, such as gaining 1 coffee and trading 1 median purple insight for 1 stored heart. Or you count all matching location tags in your play area. In this case, museum. Here we can find 4 of them. Later in the game, this method often works better, since you'll have accumulated many components showing location tags. A small tip for increasing the number of location effects: you may spend pride ideas, and for each one, count 2 additional location tags. However, the maximum number of effects remains 5. That covers all of the meeting table actions. But the city map itself still holds a few mysteries, and those will be explained in the next part. Learning board games can really get your brain working, right? So how about taking a quick break, getting some fresh air and a bit of movement? When I need a change of pace, I grab one of my weighted jump ropes, head outside and just burn off some energy. I've been using Crossrope for years now to stay fit. What makes them special? First of all, they offer weighted ropes. That means your regular cardio workout suddenly turns into full body strength training. I loved the idea so much back then that I bought the Get Strong set myself. The other unique thing is the system behind Crossrope. You get high quality handles that let you snap different ropes on and off within seconds. Depending on your mood, you can go with the speed rope or the 2-pound rope for an extra challenge. So why Crossrope? Even though my German channel is still pretty small, I've had a few sponsorship offers, but I turned most of them down right away, simply because they didn't feel right. So I took the initiative and reached out to Crossrope myself, because it's something I've genuinely been 100% convinced of for years. And the best part, I can share a discount code with you. If you want to try Crossrope for yourself, check the video description or the pinned comment. You'll find my personal link there, and with the code EL10 you'll get 10% off your order. Important, go through the link first, then enter the code. That way it works properly and you'll automatically be supporting my channel. Now back to the more mentally demanding part. The actions on a meeting table are only one of 3 options you can choose on your turn. After performing that action a few times, you naturally start wondering how to get your ideas back into your supply. To do that, you choose the Gather Thoughts option on your turn. The only requirement is that at least one of your ideas is currently on the meeting table. First, count how many different idea spaces on the meeting table contain at least one of your ideas. In this example, that's 3. And as a reward, you gain 3 coffee. If you're drowning in coffee, you can always trade it at any time during your turn. Then take all of your ideas back from the meeting table and return them to your supply. But the action doesn't end here. Once again, it's time to look at the city map. Now you may choose to take either a location bonus or a district bonus. Either your professor or Freud must be standing in the corresponding location or district. If you choose a location bonus, take the topmost district token from that location stack and place it on one of the still available bonus slots where you want to claim the effect. At the start of the game, each color's top token also grants 1 reputation point, which is quite valuable. It's not a bad idea to grab these bonuses before your opponents do. If you have a player color insight available, you can instead claim a district bonus. Again, either your own professor or Freud must be in the district you want to use. Then count all the location tags in your play area that match that district's color. For example, let's say you have 5. Each district bonus shows how many matching tags from its 2 locations you need at minimum to claim it. If a bonus slot already has an insight placed on it, you must choose a lower numbered slot. The rewards can include various combinations of stored hearts, Inkpot movement, which can in turn trigger your notebook tiles, and if you counted 6 or more matching location tags and the bonus slot is still free, you also gain 1 reputation point. The last of the 3 options you can choose on your turn is the main theme of the game, psychotherapy, or in other words, treating your clients. In your therapy area, you have therapy tracks, 1 for each therapy slot. Below each track is your client, and above each client are 2 dreams. Always 1 latent dream, the dark one, and 1 manifest dream, the light one. I mentioned this briefly before, but let's go into detail now. Dreams always require insights in order to heal a client. Each turn you may treat 1 or 2 clients once each. Every client has 2 dreams. Here we take the required insights from our insight dial. Then move the therapy marker 2 spaces to the left. This dream also rewards us with 3 victory points, which we take immediately. Whenever your therapy marker lands on or passes a victory point space on the track, you gain those points on the victory point track. Something that's easy to overlook, some dreams and traumas have small symbols on the top right corner. A wave, a cloud, or an eye. After you've analyzed a dream, check immediately whether the dream and the client's trauma show the same symbol. If they do, you gain 1 stored heart. Obviously, that only works if the trauma is still on the client. When your therapy marker reaches or passes this icon, Catharsis is triggered. That means the client overcomes the trauma and you gain the victory points and effects shown on the trauma card. In this case, 6 victory points and 2 minor green insights. After triggering Catharsis with your starting client, you unlock your second therapy slot. Once the trauma is removed from the client, the icons and effects on that client card are no longer crossed out. They are now active. Routine clients grant ongoing advantages during the game, while case study clients provide endgame victory point bonuses. It's usually smart to focus on routine clients during the first half of the game and then shift to case study clients later on, so you can score big at the end. After you've used a dream card, discard it. If the client isn't fully healed yet, they stay in therapy. You'll have a chance to release them later, more on that in a moment. If a dream card heals the client for more hearts than were needed, you gain the access as stored hearts. Once the client is completely healed, move them from your therapy area into your personal play area. Especially with the routine clients, it's important to keep their effects in mind. They'll stay active for the rest of the game. If there are any unused dream cards above that client, discard them. And as mentioned earlier, you can treat up to 2 different clients during this action. You just can't treat the same client twice in one turn. How you get new clients is what we'll cover in the next section. No matter what you did during your turn, at the end of your turn, you may convert stored hearts into therapy points and distribute them however you like among your clients, even to the ones you already treated this turn. That can be useful and sometimes even necessary. For example, when the 2 dreams you used weren't enough to fully treat a client. If at the end of your turn you have 1 or more empty therapy slots, fill each of them with a new routine or case study client along with a trauma card taken from the corresponding display. Then refill those displays and place a new trauma card on top of each revealed client. Place your chosen client onto the empty therapy slot. Now check the sum of hearts on the client's therapy track and move the therapy marker to the matching position, gaining any victory points shown there. Finally, just like during setup, draw 1 random latent dream and 1 manifest dream either from the display or from the deck and place them above the new client. And with that, you've learned everything you can do on your turn. The closer you get to the end of the game, the more your focus should shift toward earning victory points. One of the most reliable ways to gain them is by increasing your reputation. Remember, your Inkpot can repeatedly trigger reputation throughout the game. When you raise your reputation, you can easily collect 10 victory points at once the next time it's triggered. A great way to increase your reputation is by claiming achievements. You earn these as soon as you are the first player to meet their requirements. For example, unlocking all your idea pieces or healing 3 routine clients. Each achievement not only gives you reputation, but also adds location tags which count for your location and district effects. This symbol here is a wild location tag, which can be counted for any location regardless of color or type. The end of the game is triggered when Freud's marker reaches the final space of the reputation track. Remember, Freud moves forward every time one player gains a reputation point. The player who gained the final reputation point immediately earns 3 victory points. Then flip the starting player token so the pocket watch side is showing. Finish the current round, then play 1 final round. The only difference in this last round is that you no longer refill empty therapy slots. When the final round is over, proceed to final scoring. Victory points are always tracked immediately on the victory point track. If you reach 100 points, flip your scoring marker to show that you've completed 1 full lap. Now look at your position on the reputation track and take any additional victory points accordingly. The player in first place on the reputation track gains 2 victory points for each published treatise and for each healed client. The player in second place gains 1 victory point per treatise and per client. Next, score insights on the city map. There are 3 districts in total. If you have at least 1 of your player color insights in 1 district, you gain 4 victory points. If you're represented in 2 different districts, you gain 10 victory points. And if you're present in all 3 districts, you gain a massive 18 victory points. So it's something to keep in mind during the game. Then count your location tags in your play area. There are 6 possible locations, each with its own symbol. Now check how many different symbols you have. For example, with 4 different location tags, you gain 6 victory points. Next, score your completed notebook rows on your player board. 1 completed row earns 1 victory point. 2 rows earn 5, and all 3 rows completed are worth 16 victory points. And by the way, during the game, completing all rows also give you 1 reputation point. After that, bring out your case study clients. Count all of them who have already undergone catharsis. Don't forget any clients still in your therapy area. Use the overview to see how each client type awards victory points. Finally, score your remaining resources. Each stored heart is worth 2 victory points. Convert coffee to bright ideas at a 3:1 ratio. You can use the large bright ideas worth 5 each. Each sprite idea left in your supply is worth 1 additional victory point. The player with the most victory points wins the game. In case of a tie, the player higher on the reputation track is the winner. And that's it, we are done. Learning this slightly more complex game is absolutely worth it. And I hope I could make your first steps easy, so you can now take the board game shortcut and just start playing. If this video helped you and you enjoyed it, let me know with a like or a comment. My unconscious mind will definitely appreciate it. And if your superego starts reminding you that you've been sitting for quite a while, Crossrope might be just the thing to get you moving again. You'll also be supporting my work when you click the link in the pinned comment and use the code EL10 for 10% off your order. Thanks for watching, and now have fun playing Unconscious Mind.